Blessings. I'm the Reverend Douglas Taylor, and I welcome you to another episode of Digging Deeper with Reverend Douglas. In each episode, I offer a response to a question that has come to me from a member of my Unitarian Universalist congregation here in Binghamton, or from somebody who watches these episodes online. If you would like to send me a question, you can send it to my email at dtaylor@uubinghamton.org. So today's question comes from a member of my congregation who asks, what is the connection between the American Transcendentalists and Unitarian Universalism of today? So this is a fun little question. It's not just history, but there is some history in all of this. So in the late 1800s, early 1800s, the American Transcendentalist movement arose in New England area, with prominent figures like Henry David Thoreau, Walt Whitman, Emerson, Ralph Waldo Emerson, and Margaret Fuller. So these were people who essentially were claiming that the um, the heart of every human being was sacred, the inner knowing that you have, and that nature itself was also good and sacred, and that we have a capacity when we look within and when we look at nature to tap into that goodness, to emulate that goodness, and to know that goodness, and that's the best way to know God and to know what is good. That institutions around us can be corrupted and often are, but self-reliance is the heart of where we can go. So the beliefs of the individual being a true way of knowing the holy is similar to Unitarian Universalism, and this is in part because Ralph Waldo Emerson, the most connected to Transcendentalism, it was a Unitarian minister for several years before he left Unitarianism and became an essayist and lecturer, touring around. He he critiqued Unitarianism of his time, the early 1800s, saying that it was too reliant on logic and intellect and studying scripture. He wanted people to rely more on their intuition, on their inner knowing. He said the there's an iron string within each of us that knows, that resonates with truth. And he said that's what we should rely on. Why waste our time, he would say, on the transcripts of other people's connections to the holy? Let's go have our own, right? So Unitarianism had this wrestling early on with the the thoughts and the beliefs of Transcendentalism, and in many ways it kind of fractured early Unitarianism. And remarkably, we were able to stay together despite our differences. There were a group of people who were biblically based, Christian Unitarians who were rational, who were pursuing literary criticism of the Bible and science. And then there was this other wing that were intuitive, that were looking for the personal experience, that were looking at nature as a guide for how to live well. And the two groups sort of grew up together and stayed together somehow. And Unitarian Universalism was deeply influenced by that capacity to stay a single body despite having a radical split within us of what we believed. And so to this day, Emerson's ideas, Alcott's ideas, these notions of the sanctity of the human being, includes things like feminism, abolition of slavery, and the dignity and freedom of every person. It's led to some pretty significant uh, pieces that are current in today's Unitarian Universalism. This has been Digging Deeper with Reverend Douglas. Blessings.